Good morning, everyone. Hey, a while ago I was bemoaning the fact that I was having a lot of trouble maintaining the chemistry in my aquaponic setup here. As you recall, what was happening was the pH was going up and up and up and up, and I was dumping acid in it and all kinds of things, and it just wasn't helping. And then I mentioned Dr. Storey on his website about too much calcium, and the calcium buffers it up. And I have well water here, as I mentioned before, and my well water is very rich in calcium, so that was the problem. I was putting too much calcium in, and I didn't take any water out. What I was doing was refilling the water in the system as it needed, but there was no water coming out of it. So basically, like the Great Salt Lake and the Dead Sea, a lot of water coming in, or some water coming in, but no water coming out except for the evaporation and the water that the plants used. And apparently the plants weren't uptaking the calcium as fast as it was coming into the system. And what the calcium does is it causes a buffering effect to where that'll make your pH go higher and higher and higher. Now, if you get an aquaponic system like this and it's aged and it's mature, what should be happening is you should be having, if any trouble keeping the pH up high enough, because it'll want to go down. But I was having trouble keeping the pH down because it was wanting to go above 8 and so forth. But let me show you what I did here. Okay, now if you remember, this is the pond, this is the main source of everything, and I've got a pump in here, and what happens is the pump basically pumps the water out to these grow beds here, and these grow beds over there, and then it all drains back. And what I did was, for makeup water, was I would, this line coming down here, if you recall, this comes from the well, the house system, fills that tank up, and then I would use that to periodically refill the system. Well, I changed that to where now the water, this is the pump that runs the sprinkler system, and the sprinkler system basically waters all these plants out here, and these tomatoes here, and those tomatoes there, and there's another, and the grapes over here, and there's another greenhouse over there that it waters some stuff on the ground. Well, instead of taking that straight out of the tank, straight out of the well, now I rerouted the pump that supplies that to where it takes it out of one of these grow beds. And these grow beds, of course, are in the system. So basically, if you take the water out of here, you're taking it out of the system or out of the pond, so to speak. And that seems to have helped quite a bit. I'll show you here in a little bit. We'll let it sit for a while and see how it works. But it looks to me like just having it here for a week or so, it's doing some good. And so what we're doing now is we are draining some of the water out, and as we fill it in. So it's not like the Dead Sea or the Great Salt Lake anymore. Okay, now let me show you the pond. What I've done on this is I've moved a, you see that little swamp cooler float valve down there? That comes off of the swamp cooler system, where what happens is this level now is maintained by well water coming through that swamp cooler float valve. And if the level goes down, well, of course that fills it back up again. Fills it up rather slowly, but it is keeping up with it quite nicely. Now I want you to notice one thing. I put some of these, I think they're called water lettuce in, a couple of months ago, I think. And look at that. They're covering, there's a little duckweed in there too, but they're covering the entire surface just about of the pond right now. There's about 10 or 12 good-sized goldfish in there, and I've seen them feeding, and I haven't seen them lately much, but when I feed them, they're still in there. They're still alive. They're doing well. But now they got a lot of cover, and this stuff, I understand, is really a problem in the waterways of southeastern United States. So I'm going to have to do something to dispose of this because this grows really fast. But anyway, Water goes in here, and water comes out over there. Right there that I was showing you, water comes out over there, and that little watering that comes out of the pond, essentially, because the pond recirculates through all these watering beds, and then it sprinkles out here. So the water in the pond does get some water recirculated out of it, or taken out of it. So that should help with that concentration, and it seems to be doing a nice job. Anyway, that's what I'm doing to try to get the calcium concentrations down, and it seems to be working pretty good. Well, it's been about a month since I have changed the circulation system in my aquaponics fill and drain beds, and the dilution process that's introducing seems to be helping a lot, because I just took the readings this morning, and the pH is actually below 7 now. It's 6.8 or something in that neighborhood. And if you remember when I started this, I couldn't get it below 8. Now, the dissolved solids are 533 right now, so yeah. But anyway, the point is the dilution seems to be working. Now, there may be other factors involved, but taking some of the water out of here when I'm watering the other plants seems to be helping. It's at least diluting something, or something else is going on that I'm not aware of that's fixing all the pH problems I had. Anyway, so I just thought I'd let you know about that. I think it's not a good idea to, if you have an aquaponic system, to just put water into the system and never take any out, let it all evaporate. I suppose if you have enough plants, or if they're the right mixture, or you're not putting in certain concentrations of things, it might work. But like I have with the well, putting in a lot of calcium just straight out of the well, I think that's a problem, because it will concentrate, and I don't think the plants can remove it as fast as it needs to be removed. But anyway, this is working. So just maybe you want to try this at your place if you're kind of thinking of the same thing, or if you're just seeing the same problems.